All right, so to remove the tail light, we need to pop this panel off using a panel tool. That'll expose one 10mm bolt. Once that's loose, you can come around to the tail light. All right, so with that 10mm bolt loosened, all we need to do is pull the tail light. We're gonna pull this body lock. That way we can go ahead and get that plug loose. We're gonna unlock, squeeze, and we're gonna unplug. Now that the taillight's removed, we just need to swap over the factory taillight bracket to the new taillight. And since this Jeep was already LED equipped, we're gonna go ahead and swap over the blind spot monitoring sensors as well while we're here. To remove the bracket, we just need to take off these 3 Phillips screws. Pop this off, set it to the side. Now to get to the blind spot sensor, we need to remove these 2 Phillips screws. We're gonna remove this cavity cover, set it to the side. Now we've exposed our sensor. We can go ahead and pull the sensor and its cradle out. Then we're gonna pop these off to release. Go ahead and unplug the sensor. And we're gonna set this taillight to the side. To install the blind spot monitoring sensor on the Oracle taillight, we're gonna have to remove these 9 Phillips screws. With those 9 screws removed, we're gonna go ahead and pull this bracket, set it to the side. Now we have the cavity for the sensor. We're gonna go ahead and remove this cover. So what we wanna do is we wanna take the blind spot sensor and insert it here into the cover. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in, lock it, and we're gonna set this back in place. Now with the sensor installed, we're gonna put this bracket back on. Lastly, we need to install the factory taillight bracket. Once that's in place, we're gonna use the screws supplied in the box with the new taillights. Now we're ready to install this on the Jeep. So we swapped over the bracket from the factory taillight. We also swapped over the blind spot monitoring sensor since this was already equipped. If your Jeep isn't equipped with the blind spot monitoring sensors, you can skip that step. Now, since this was already factory LED equipped, this resistor is not needed, so we're gonna remove this. If you do have halogen taillights, you're gonna need to leave that in place, and we'll show you where to mount that here in a second. So for halogen taillight Jeeps, you'll need to keep this resistor plugged in line with the taillight, and we're gonna show you where to install that inside of the vehicle. You're gonna wanna go ahead and pull this red plastic off of the tape. We're gonna go ahead and reach down into the cavity here, and we're just gonna stick this to the bodywork right here. Now we can put the taillight in. We can go ahead and get this connector plugged in. So all we wanna do now is plug in the main connector. Make sure that that snaps nice and tight. We'll go ahead and lock it. We're gonna get this in place. Now that the taillight's in place, we're gonna move to our 10mm bolt and get this fastened in place while holding the taillight where we want it. So I like to just get this started finger tight. That way we make sure everything's aligned properly. Then we can go in with our 10mm socket and tighten it the rest of the way. And we can already feel that taillight cinching up nice and tight. All right, nice and tight.